6 p.m. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Afghan president has extended an invitation to the Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi to visit Afghanistan to initiate comprehensive dialogue process between the two countries. The Interior Minister has urged the opposition to join hands with the government for installing a caretaker setup for the next general elections. A Chinese delegation visited the mines area in Muslim Bagh of Balochistan and reviewed the prospects of investment. The All Parties Hurriyat Conference chairman has rejected the Indian offer of dialogue, terming it nothing more than a tactic to buy time by New Delhi. Xi Jinping has been elected as the president of China for a second term. In Russia, presidential elections will be held tomorrow. And now the news in detail. The President of Afghanistan, Ashraf Ghani, has extended an official invitation to Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi to visit Afghanistan. In a tweet, he said the invitation would initiate state-to-state comprehensive dialogue between the two countries. The Interior Minister, Ahsan Iqbal, has said Pakistan has become a strong economy due to the steps taken by the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz government. Addressing the inauguration ceremony of mobile registration service in the country in Lahore, he said democracy is progressing in the country and the general elections will be held on time. Ahsan Iqbal said it is the success of democracy that Senate elections were held according to schedule. He said no one should be allowed to create uncertainty in the country. He urged the opposition to join hands with the government for installing a caretaker setup for holding general elections. He said defeated forces had won the Senate elections while victorious ones were defeated. However, every setback strengthened the democratic process. He said respect of courts should be maintained. Ahsan Iqbal said unity is the need of the hour as the enemy wants to fail China-Pakistan Economic Corridor project. The Chairman Senate, Mir Sadiq Sanjarani, has said constitutional powers will be used amicably to take all the senators along. Talking to media during his visit to Mazar-e-Qaid in Karachi today, he expressed the hope that the other political parties will also cooperate with the senators. To a question, he said situation in Balochistan is better than the past. Earlier, Mir Sadiq Sanjarani visited the Mazar-e-Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah along with the Deputy Chairman Senate, Salim Mandiwala, and laid a floral wreath and offered Fatiha. The Chief of the Army Staff General Qamar Javed Bajwa visited the Frontier Force Regimental Center Abbottabad today and installed Lieutenant General Ghayur Mahmood as the new colonel of the Frontier Force Regiment. The Chief of the Army Staff and retired General Rahil Sharif pinned on him the badges of the rank. A large number of serving and retired PIFR officers attended the ceremony. Later, the Chief of the Army Staff also addressed PIFR commanding officers and hailed contributions of PIFRs towards defense of the country. The Naval Chief Admiral Zafar Mahmood Abbasi, who is on a visit to Saudi Arabia, met the Western Fleet Commander of Saudi Royal Navy. According to the spokesperson of the Pakistan Navy, matters of bilateral interest were discussed during the meeting. The Commander of Western Fleet appreciated the strong relations between the two naval forces. Admiral Zafar Mahmood Abbasi also visited the Western Fleet Command and Control Center, Royal Saudi Naval School, and Royal Saudi Naval Forces Aviation Setup. He also witnessed the Saudi Navy's frigate HMS Makkah and interacted with staff and commended their professional capabilities. The Supreme Court of Pakistan has ordered to remove pictures of political leaders from government advertisements by the 3rd of next month. A three-member bench of the Apex Court, headed by the Chief Justice of Pakistan, Mr. Justice Mia Saqib Nisar, while hearing a suo motu notice in Karachi today, sought details of the government advertisements with pictures of political leaders. The Chief Justice also ordered to refund government funds incurred on such practices and observed that in future no picture of any political leader be displayed in government advertisements. Hearing another case related to misplacement of baggage of passengers in PIA at the Supreme Court Registry, Karachi Registry, the Chief Justice sought a report from Anti-Narcotics Force and FIA in this regard. The court ordered the institutions concerned to submit their recommendations within 10 days to resolve the issue of misplacement of baggage of passengers at the airports. A three-member bench of the Supreme Court, headed by the Chief Justice, Mr. Justice Mia Saqib Nisar, heard a case of illegal transplantation of kidneys and other human organs in Karachi today. The Chief Justice sought a report from the doctors to bring an end to the illegal transplantation of kidneys. The court constituted a committee to suggest measures to further strengthen the law and bring an end to illegal transplantation of human organs. A six-member Chinese delegation visited the mine areas in Muslim Bagh and Special Economic Zone in Bostan area of Balochistan to review prospects of investment in the province. The delegation was briefed on chromite being explored in Muslim Bagh. The delegation also visited the industrial estate in Bostan. This is Radio Pakistan. The Azad Jammu and Kashmir President Sardar Masood Khan has lauded the resilience and courage of the citizens living along the line of control and said we will not be intimidated by India's unprovoked firing and shelling. He made these remarks while addressing public gatherings during his visit to Samhani in Bhimber. He paid rich tributes to the brave citizens who had been martyred and seriously wounded due to the constant violations by India. In occupied Kashmir, the chairman of all parties, Hurriyat Conference Sayyid Ali Gilani, has rejected India's fresh offer of talks, saying that it is nothing more than a tactic to buy time by New Delhi. In a statement, the APHC spokesman Ghulam Ahmed Gulzar said the offer was made to Sayyid Ali Gilani by an official of the Indian Intelligence Bureau. However, he said APHC chairman declined the same, saying that until India acknowledges the disputed status of Jammu and Kashmir and starts the withdrawal of its troops from the occupied territory, holding any talks carries no meaning. Sayyid Ali Gilani told the Intelligence Bureau official that the Kashmiri people had never accepted the forced control of India and they should be allowed to express their aspirations about their political future. He said it was the responsibility of the Indian leadership to create an atmosphere conducive for talks amongst all the stakeholders of the Kashmir dispute, including Pakistan, to settle it. Chinese President Xi Jinping took oath of his office for the second term in Beijing today. Earlier, the 13th National People's Congress at its meeting elected Xi Jinping as the president and chairman of the Central Military Commission. The voting was held inside the central Beijing's Great Hall of the People and also witnessed by journalists. Wang Qishan was elected as the vice president. In Russia, presidential elections will be held tomorrow. A total of 8 candidates, including the incumbent President Vladimir Putin, are in the run for the office, but Vladimir Putin is widely expected to win. Around 110 million eligible voters will cast their votes to elect a new president for the next 6 years. Russia today expelled 23 British diplomats in a tit-for-tat response to London's measures over the poisoning of a former Russian double agent and his daughter. In a statement, the Russian Foreign Ministry said it was also shutting down the activities of the British Council, which fosters cultural links between the two countries, and Britain's Consulate General in St. Petersburg. The ministry said it was giving the 23 British diplomats 1 week to leave the country. Iran says any new European sanctions against Tehran will have a direct effect on the nuclear deal struck between the major world powers and Tehran. In a statement, Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said the European countries are following steps to put non-nuclear sanctions against Tehran in order to please the American president. He said they will be making a big mistake and they will see the direct results of that on the nuclear deal. In the Philippines, 6 people were killed and 2 injured when a small passenger plane crashed into a house shortly after takeoff in north of Manila today. And now news about sports. The fourth interprovincial games are beginning in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa tomorrow. A spokesman of the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Sports Directorate told Radio Pakistan Peshawar that more than 1,600 players from across the country will participate in 26 different disciplines to be played at different venues, including Peshawar, Charsadda, and Abbottabad. And finally, the weather. Mainly dry weather is expected in most parts of the country during the next 12 hours. However, rain thunderstorm with gusty winds is expected at isolated places in Quetta, Yob divisions and Fata. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link, facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.